So what do your parents do, Chris?
My dad wasn't really in the picture. My mom passed away when I was like 11.
Oh, I'm sorry. How did she die?
Hit and run.
That's all.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
You were young.
No, actually, I don't remember a lot from that time, so.
Well, that's okay. We don't have to talk about that.
You smoke, Chris? Jones a little bit over here? Huh?
I'm quitting.
Dad, this is why I don't bring people to the house anymore.
That's okay. We're not judging.
It's a nasty habit, though. You should have Missy take care of that for you.
How?
Hypnosis. She developed a method, and I'm telling you, it works like a charm.
Well,
Some people don't want strangers messing around in their heads, guys.
Listen, Chris, I thought it was total bullshit. I smoked cigarettes for 15 years. I loved every goddamn puff I took. She puts me under once. The sight of a cigarette makes me want to vomit.
Okay, fall back, Dean.
it's a service we provide. I'm good, actually. Thank you, though.
Well, smoker...
This is from a book called Thanks for the Memories by Bryce Taylor, whose real name was Susan Ford. She wrote under this AKA to hide her identity from the government handlers. And this is a preview by Pamela J. Monday, PhD, a psychiatrist who, interviewed hundreds of people with multiple personality disorder, aka dissociation identity disorder. And this is called Manufacturing the Mind-Controlled Slave. Now the doctor says, when someone is exposed to psychologically distressing event that is outside the range of usual human experience, is usually experienced with intense fear, terror, and helplessness. Then disassociation usually occurs as a way for the mind to process the event without overwhelming the person. Parts of the experience, either knowledge of what happened, the emotional feelings associated with the event, the sensory experiences of the event, or the behaviors expressed during the event, become separated from one's conscious awareness. The more frequent the trauma, the more disassociation occurs. This phenomenon is why children who have been severely sexually abused and tortured are amnesic for those events. In a landmark university study by Linda Williams, hundreds of children brought into a hospital emergency room who received medical confirmation of sexual abuse were contacted at intervals throughout a 20-year period. Only 1/3 of these children, when reaching adulthood, retained conscious memories of the sexual abuse. All others had repressed or disassociated those awful memories. Such is the power of the mind to block out painful experiences. Now remember, or pay attention in the scene, he's going to say, I don't remember a lot from that time, talking about his childhood and the traumatic experience that he went through.
We do use focal points sometimes to guide someone into a state of heightened suggestibility.
Heightened suggestibility.
That's right. That's right. Do you smoke in front of my daughter?
I'm gonna quit, I promise.
That's my kid. That is my kid. You understand? What about your mother?
What about her? Wait, are we?
Where were you when she died?
I don't think about it. Watching TV.
Do you hear the TV? What do you hear?
Rain.
Rain. It was raining. You hear the rain?
Mm-hmm.
You hear it? Find it. Tell me when you found it. Come here, Chris. Look at me.
Found it.
Where was your mom?
She was coming home. She wasn't home.
From work? And what did you do?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I just sat there.
You didn't call anyone?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. I just thought that if I did, it'd make it real.
You're so scared. You think it was your fault? How do you feel now?
I can't move.
You did nothing. Now, sink into the floor.
Wait.
Sink.
Now in the scene where she tells him, drop into the floor, he tells her, before she tells him, he says, I can't move. Now listen to this account from a victim. This is again written from the preview from Thanks for the Memories by Bryce Taylor. This is written by the psychiatrist in the preview. Disassociation is a way of escaping the intolerable. I'm sure it happened first during the trauma itself and was a sanity-saving way of dealing with overwhelming physical pain as well as psychological pain of betrayal. For me, it took the form of physical numbness and cold, and to this day, when I disassociate, I most often go numb. First, my hands and feet go. I can't feel them. And if my eyes are closed, I have no sense of where they are in space. Then the numbness in my face starts. I can't feel my lips or cheeks. When I disassociate badly, the whole body goes and I feel and move like a block of wood. Worse than the physical disassociation is what happens mentally while the physical numbness is in place. I guess the only thing I can say in comparison is that it's the mental equivalent of white noise or radio static that can leave me blank-faced and staring into space. The thoughts that are there whip through at the speed of light with no coherence, organization, or form. I get very confused. It can range from being a little vague and spacey to a whole white out where I don't see or hear much.
This is a hypnosis light.
Dennis.
My pleasure, Dennis. You are being monitored. If for some reason there's a threatening identity in the room, the light will automatically strobe and force a different identity to take over. Everyone.
In the next scene, we're going to see Chris, snap a photo of Andre while he's under mind control or possession. Or, in the sunken place, as they called it in the movie. And the flash from the camera literally snapped him out of it. This reminded me of this I read from Mysterious Secrets of the Dark Kingdom, Battle for Planet Earth by J.P. Timmons. In pagan Rome, Baal was known as the god Jupiter. In addition to working with Abaddon and Ashtaroth to promote false religion, he works with Abaddon to influence parties and discotheques by creating an atmosphere for alcoholism and sexual immorality. In furthering this goal as the sun god, he has taught mankind the hypnotic and psychological effects of light. He was instrumental in developing the lighting system used in discos today. The purpose behind the lighting system spiritually is to increase the sexual desires of youth and lead them into sexual degradation. The effect of this light, along with another of his inventions called heavy metal rock music, nowadays all music, has been to destroy our youth in many ways. This was first written in 1991. I believe when you examine these facts carefully, you will be able to see the demonic work of these principalities and powers as they create a synergetic effect by combining all of these evil intentions.
You find that being African American has more advantage or disadvantage in the modern world?
It's a tough one.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Hey, yo, man. Don't ask me about the African American experience. Maybe you could take this one.
Oh. Well, I find that the African American experience for me has been, for the most part, very good. Although I find it difficult to go into detail as I haven't had much desire to leave the house in a while.
We've become such homebodies.
Yes. But even when you go into the city, I've just had no interest. The chores have become my sanctuary. Joe. Sorry, man. Get out! Yo, chill,
Seizures create anxiety, which can trigger aggression.
Yeah, but like randomly attacking other other people?
That's not random. It was your flash. That's what set him off. Hey,
Well,
how's he doing?
it's much better.
I imagine that I owe you all an apology.
No. We're just very happy that you're yourself again.
Yes, I am. And I thank God for you for calming me down. I know that I must have frightened you all quite a bit, especially you, Chris.
Oh, I'm sorry. The flash, I didn't know.
Of course not. How could you have?
You shouldn't have been drinking either.
I want to tell you.
What?
I got hypnotized last night.
Nigga, get the fuck out of here.
Yo, yeah, to quit smoking, but it's Rose's mom's a psychiatrist, so.
Bro, I don't care. The bitch is Ayana Van Zant, okay? She can't fix my motherfucking life.
Ayanna Van Zant is mentioned. And the reason I'm going to pull her out and start talking about her is for two things. Because of who she is and her involvement with hypnosis and the goddesses that she worships. Match up to the goddess that's associated with the stag or the deer, which would be Goddess Diana or Artemis or Hecate, witchcraft goddesses. Now, first, this is according to a born and raised Nigerian and Yoruba man, Bad Adamboyejo. Sorry if I butchered his name. And he wrote this article called "The Truth About Ayanna Van Zant." Now, he says right here, it says her name, the name Ayanna, literally translated means big mother, but figuratively means head mother, head priestess, or head goddess. However, since she is not born in Nigeria or a Nigerian, at least not by natural birth, I would not be making a wild guess to suggest that that's the name she adopted as a result of her involvement with the Yoruba traditionalists, rather than being her birth-given name. She confirms her involvement with the Yoruba traditionalists in one of her books. When I was initiated into the priesthood of Yoruba culture, many of my family members and friends admonished me. The general belief was that I would burn in hell for turning my back on God, Ayanna Van Zant, the spirit of man. So right on archive.com, her book from 1992, Tapping the Power Within, A Path to Self-Empowerment for Black Women, she mentions two Yoruba goddesses as her mothers, Yemoja and Ashun. And her acknowledgement is given for love, for use and expansion of the teachings, writings of She Needs a Bunch of People. And one of her friends, her people she learned this from, is named Morning Star. Now Venus was called the morning and the evening star. And Venus was poetically called Lucifer. And Lucifer is known as, what do they call him? The light bearer, the morning star. Satanists still call him that, even though he's still burned out long ago. Now Venus will be closely associated with the goddess Diana and the two goddesses that she worships. So, if you look up on the internet, Ayanna Van Zant, you find out it says she's a New Thought spiritual teacher. The first thing that comes up is the New Thought movement. Now it says that Penis P. Quimby is widely recognized as the founder of the New Thought movement. Born in Lebanon, New Hampshire, but raised in Belfast, Maine, Quimby learned about the power of the mind to heal through hypnosis. And also in that book, or that article of Exposing Ayanna Van Zant, he also talked about how she mixed a lot of paganism with the Yoruba practice. American paganism, that is.
You ain't getting in my head.
I know she called me off guard, right? But it's cool, because
I'm cured. It worked. Bro, how you not scared of this, man? But they could have made you do all types of stupid shit. They have you fucking barking like a dog, flying around like a fucking pigeon, looking ridiculous, okay? Or, I don't know if you know this, white people love making people sex slaves and shit.
yeah, I'm pretty sure they're not a kinky sex family, dog.
Look, Jeffrey Dahmer was eating the shit out of niggas' head.
Now you see, he mentioned Jeffrey Dahmer, which was, which as he said, sorry for the language, but he was saying that Jeffrey Dahmer was decapitating people's heads and then having sexual relations with them. And if you read, if you read up on Jeffrey Dahmer or watch any documentaries, you would know that he was totally blacked out when this happened, and he doesn't recall that it happened. He literally woke up in a hotel room and this guy was dead. So I'm going to read you this part from Thanks for the Memories by Bryce Tiller. And this is again in the same section, written by the psychiatrist. Just as it is possible to break down a person in order to create someone you can control. Solving coagula. By getting them to do anything you want them to do. Break them down and create anyone you want, right? So it is possible to program a part of a person's mind, a disassociated part that is split off by trauma and other means from connection with reality. You can teach that part of the mind to do what you want it to do without the part of the mind that is conscious and aware, knowing what's going on. Hence, people with multiple personality disorders report that they lose time, like Jeffrey Dahmer, whereby they don't remember where they have been or what they have been doing.
I think your mom got in my head, right? I think she got in my head.
Yeah, and it worked, I thought.
No, it didn't work. She got in my head, and I don't think all this fucked up shit that I don't want to think about.
Remember to the Yana Von Zant, who is a Yoruba priestess initiated into the Mother Goddess worship. And this whole book right here is about the Yoruba people. Mysterious Secrets of the Dark Kingdom, Battle for Planet Earth by J.P. Timmons. The main areas of the cult where Satan is working and holding people in bondage today are astrology, spiritists, spiritual healers, fortune tellers, transcendental meditation, yoga, Satanism and Satan worship, obviously, right? Mediums and channelers, secret societies, metaphysics, false religions, Ouija boards, rock music, New Age, and hypnotists. Never allow yourself to be hypnotized. Demons can access when we are not in control of our minds. Demons can gain access when we are not controlling our minds. Now look what else he has to say about hypnotizing in hypnotic lights. As we see in a scene with the picture flash. Or in the scene from, what was it, Glass? When they hypnotize him to change his personality, they use the flashing lights.
The coagula procedure is a man-made miracle. Our order has been developing it for many, many years. And it wasn't until recently it was perfected by my own flesh and blood. My family and I are honored to offer it as a service to members of our group. Don't waste your strength. Don't try to fight it. You can't stop the inevitable. And who knows? Maybe one day you'll enjoy being members of the family. Behold, the coagula.
Just the scene alone, talking about coagula, is pure Satanism, connecting it with alchemy and Baphomet. And you see right here on his forearms, it says, "Solve, coagulate." Solve it, coagulate is a maxim or motto of alchemy, which means dissolve and coagulate. It means that something must be broken down before it can be built up. This is exactly what is done in MK Ultra. They're breaking down the person's mind or spirit with the abuse, and then they're building it up to whatever they want to whatever type of personality they want to create. We continue reading here. It says, one interpretation of this saying is to dissolve the body and build up the spirit. There you go. It's pretty insane. Alright, at the end of the scene, Chris looks up at the stag or the deer. The stag is a symbol of rebirth and renewal. Since they shed their antlers in the autumn and regrow them in the spring, stags are indicators of the changing seasons and heralds of new life. Is that interesting? This also might be interesting. The deer also symbolizes a connection to the supernatural, the other world, or to the fairy realm, e.g. being a messenger or an entity's familiar. Very interesting, huh? Since the spiritual trap that they put Chris in by making him fall, into the sunken place, putting him into a spiritual prison while he watches as his body is taken over.